You ever look around and think, how is everyone affording this? The lifted trucks, the new kitchens, the trips, the casual luxury cars in the driveway like it's normal? Here's the truth. You're watching a fake economy, and it's making you feel broke. This is the invisible income effect. You think you're competing with your neighbor's salaries. You're not. You're competing with their debt, their family money, their inheritance, their parent subsidized down payment, their we don't talk about it credit card balance, and their it's only $7.99 a month lease. So when you try to match their lifestyle with your paycheck, you feel like you're losing. Because you are. And before you blame yourself, yes, the market is insane. Housing is insane. Cars are insane. Groceries are insane. It's not your fault the world got expensive. But it is your fault if you keep playing by the old rules like nothing changed. You are losing a game that is rigged. And in 2026, the only winning move is to stop buying the stuff that silently bleeds you out. Today, 10 things you need to stop buying in 2026. Brutal, contrarian, math only. And fair warning, the math is brutal. Item 1, the car trap, 84-month loans. If you're financing a vehicle for 84 months, you're not buying a car. You're buying a lifestyle you can't afford, with a payment plan attached. Let's do ugly math. You want a $60,000 truck. Dealer says no problem. It's only like $900-ish a month. And you nod like that's normal. At around 8% over 84 months, you're paying roughly $935 a month. Multiply that out. $935 times 84 is $78,540. That's just principal and interest. Now add the stuff people forget because it ruins the fantasy. Full coverage insurance because the lender requires it. Higher registration fees. Tires the size of watermelons. Fuel because your truck gets 16 miles per gallon. And maintenance as it ages while you're still paying for it. Conservatively, you push into the mid $80,000. A $60,000 truck becomes $86,000. That is not owning a nice truck. That is wealth destruction. And here's the punchline. Most people don't even keep the car 84 months. They roll negative equity into the next one. That's how you turn a car into a permanent monthly subscription. The math is brutal. Debt turns transportation into a long-term tax on your future. Item 2, the housing trap. The $500,000 starter home myth. A starter home used to mean small, slightly ugly, affordable. In 2026, starter home apparently means $500,000 and a payment that requires 2 incomes and a prayer. People say, it's fine, real estate always goes up. Yeah, and people also say, I'll just refinance later. That's not a plan. That's hope with better branding. Math, $500,000 house, 5% down. That's $25,000 down and a $475,000 loan. And because he didn't put 20% down, congratulations, you get PMI. PMI is a poverty tax, often $200 to $400 for literally nothing. You get no extra house, no extra equity, no extra safety. It's just a penalty for not already being rich. Buying too much house doesn't just cost you money. It costs you options. You become house poor. Nice address, stress life. The house owns you. If your housing choice makes you financially fragile, it's not an asset. It's a liability with a lawn. Item 3, the status trap. Fake rich. Let's kill the fantasy. Most people flexing are not wealthy. They're leased up, financed up, and minimum payment rich. The median net worth for people under 35 is about $39,000. That's not yacht money. That's barely survive a crisis money. And it includes retirement accounts you can't even touch without penalties. So when you see people doing better than you, what you're usually seeing is a bigger payment, a thinner emergency fund, and a life balanced on the edge of a layoff. Their wealth is a costume. You're not behind because you don't look rich. You're ahead if you're not pretending. Now the psychological traps. Item 4. Gap insurance, dealer warranties, add-ons, fear taxes. Gap insurance, extended warranty, paint protection, fabric protection, key replacement, lifetime whatever. These are fear taxes sold by dealerships to people who already bought too much car. If the purchase was financially solid, you wouldn't need a stack of financial band-aids to feel safe. They sell you fear in the finance office because you're tired and emotionally compromised. You already overpaid, so you sign more papers to feel better. If you need gap insurance because you're upside down, the solution isn't gap insurance. The solution is stop buying cars you can't afford. Item 6, credit card interest. This one is an emergency, not a normal adult thing. If you're carrying around $9,000 at 20% interest, you're basically paying 20% extra for stuff that is now in a closet, in a garage, in a junk drawer, or already broken. You finance consumer junk at loan shark rates and you're shocked you feel broke. That is not a strategy. That is a fire. Put it out. Item 6, micro decisions. And here's the contrarian take. Stop obsessing over the $4 coffee if you have a $900 car payment. Cutting coffee while keeping a monster payment is using a bucket to bail out the Titanic. Yes, small expenses matter, but here's what really matters: decision fatigue. If your plan is make 40 tiny sacrifices every day, you will fail. You're a human, not a robot. The smarter play is to delete the giant payments that are actually crushing you. Oversized car, too big house, high interest debt, subscription lifestyle. Then you can keep some small joys without sabotaging your future. Item 7, subscription creep, the silent budget assassin. You don't have a budget problem, you have a subscription infestation. Streaming, music, apps, premium versions of things you barely use. Individually, they're only $12, collectively, they're a car payment. Subscriptions normalize permanent monthly obligations. They train your brain to accept that your income is already spent before you even get it. If you want to feel rich, cancel what you don't use and reclaim your cash flow. Now the mindset shift. Item 8, identity purchases. Stop buying stuff to cosplay an identity. Trucks to feel rugged, watches to feel important, brands to feel successful, big houses to feel like an adult. Nobody's coming to validate you, and the bank does not care who you think you are. A 10-year-old F-150 hauls the same plywood. A boring car gets you to work with the same dignity. A smaller home can still be a great life. Identity purchases are expensive because they're never satisfied. They're hunger, not need. Item 9, space you don't use. If you're paying for rooms that stay dark, you're not building wealth, you're funding empty space. Being house poor means you're trading hours of your life to heat, cool, furnish, insure, and maintain square footage you don't live in. That's not aspirational. That's financial self-harm with nicer countertops. Item 10, the convenience tax lifestyle. Delivery fees, rush shipping, constant eating out because you're tired, paying extra to avoid minor discomfort. Convenience isn't evil. But in 2026, convenience has become a pricing model designed to harvest your impulsivity. If you're broke, convenience isn't a treat, it's a trap. Now the landing, the $20,000 theory. Your first $20,000 saved, cash, accessible, not tied up, does something no truck, no kitchen remodel, no designer logo can do. It buys walking away money. It buys the ability to say, no, I'm not working unpaid overtime. No, I'm not staying in a toxic job. No, I'm not tolerating disrespect because I'm scared. That's freedom. That's what rich actually feels like. And if you're thinking, easy for you to say, everything's expensive. I agree. The market is crazy. A lot of this is not your fault. But it is your fault if you keep playing by the old rules. So in 2026, stop buying the stuff that turns your life into payments. Stop financing an image. Stop rewarding industries that profit off your insecurity. Save your first $20,000. Build walking away money. Because once you have it, the whole rigged game changes. And yeah, the math is brutal. That's why you have to be more brutal than the math.